Okay, so we have about 10 minutes before Mike's in here, so we gotta hurry up or we don't want to make Mike mad. Yesterday I covered sales side of PIMs. Again, just to recap, this is not really a super high-tech sales presentation. It's just showing you what it's capable of doing, showing you some things that we do. If you like it and want to talk about it, I'll be happy to talk about it with you after this. There's no way we can cover in 10 or 15 minutes everything that PIMs can do on the service side. It's incredibly large and incredibly complete. But my techs, they wouldn't want to do service without PIMs, mostly because they hate being in GSX. They hate having to go jump through the hoops that GSX makes you jump through just to order a simple part. The APIs and PIMs can sidestep all of that. So things that I wanted to cover on the service side of things, obviously the GSX integration, some other things that save us a ton of time, bulk receiving, bulk tech assignments. So just to highlight, for GSX integration, everything that we need to do in GSX, we primarily do in PIMs. We rarely go into GSX for anything. And we'll go over that in a little bit here. Bulk receiving, when parts come in, PIMs allows us to take all of those parts, brings up one screen where we receive everything. We enter in the serial numbers for each line item. PIMs will automatically attach those parts with the KGBs to the SRO number, updates the serial numbers in Apple, and it's all taken care of for us automatically. Bulk tech assignments, I don't know if you have service managers who assign SRO repairs, but basically you can list all of your unassigned SROs, and the service manager can highlight whatever they want and assign them to the techs. And so, 10 minutes after, it doesn't take any time at all to do bulk assignments to techs. Status email updates. Again, anytime in PIMs you go through and have statuses for each of your the steps that you take your SROs through, checked in, diagnosing, parts ordered, parts in, all of that kind of stuff. You determine what emails you want, what email notifications you want sent out to your customers, so that, and I'll show you that here in a little bit as well. Comprehensive status report. This is something that's fairly new, and we put into PIMs because of Ingram Micro in Latin America wanted this report. What this tells me is I can run a report and I can look at the amount of time each repair remained in each status, and then run some analytics so that I can see, okay, tech number one, the average amount of time your SROs are diagnosing is 3 times longer than it is for everybody, for all of the other techs. What's going on? I'll show you a little bit about that. The Apple Appointment Notifier, we talked briefly about that yesterday. Essentially, that's Mike's system of check-in kiosk. Oh, no, that's the check-in piece. The Apple Appointment Notifier is basically anytime an appointment is made in GSX for your location, we'll automatically email that customer, welcoming them to our system, letting them know what we can do, what we can't do, adding any promotional information that we want before they even come into the store. So that way, if they are coming into a store for a screen repair to one of our locations that doesn't have the calibration machine, they can cancel the appointment before they show up, which is great. Because you don't want those people showing up.
Real quick on that, is that, even if you have PIMs, are you still paying that fee for your service to do that?
Right. This and the check-in kiosk are not PIMs dependent, although they tie into PIMs. But in other words, you can use them without PIMs.
Right, and we're paying you guys for that.
Correct.
Okay.
One of the things we talked about, which, Patrick, you're the only PIMs user, so you're the only one that cares that we're going to have multiple windows in Platinum.
Yeah, I'm in Platinum. I don't know if I'm happy or sad.
Okay. Bulk receiving, we talked briefly about that. Did I say everything that I wanted to say on that? Oh, that is one thing. During the bulk receiving, we assign the return date and then you run a report so that way parts never get back late to Apple. It obviously updates.
Is that done automatically or is that done manually as a date for return?
What do you mean?
So like when a part comes in, are you guys setting up, hey, 3 days from this is your return date? Or is the service manager assigning a return date?
So the return date, you put in a default number of days.
Okay.
But during the receiving, that can be overridden. We set ours for, I think we set ours for 5 days just to make sure that everything gets back in plenty of time. Again, because PIMs is the service module and the POS and the accounting is all integrated. Whenever you're doing receiving, your inventory records or your inventory general ledger accounts are being updated. All of that's automatic, so you don't have to do any weird sort of import-export, that kind of thing. Okay, GSX integration intro, this is where you want to spend all your time. PIMs will look up the warranty status and look up parts in GSX. That's pretty standard. If you're using Lightspeed, you can do this already. What PIMs can do that we have not found other POSs or service repair modules that do the rest of this. I could be wrong. There could be something else out there. I just don't know about it. In addition to that, we can also look up repairs. So if there are repairs that exist in GSX, we can look those up from within PIMs. We can look up the status that is on the GSX repair. So if we've got an SRO that we're working on in PIMs, we hit a button and we can see, here's what GSX says the status of this is. And that's important typically because we have marked something as completed that has still not been marked ready for pickup in GSX. We can catch that right away. And then also invoices. And we'll go over, if we have time a little bit, the whole accounting side of things, because PIMs will automatically reconcile all of your GSX invoices, labor reimbursements, and write the check for you in just a matter of minutes. In addition to all of that, we can create, update, and closeout repairs, including updating serial numbers. We can order parts. If the parts that you need for that repair are, when you put a part on a line item for a repair, PIMs looks up and will only let you buy the part for the serial number of that device. If that part that you need is in GSX but is not in your PIMs inventory, PIMs will automatically add that to your inventory at the markup that you have determined. So if you have a tech that needs to quote a price, and typically now they're going into GSX and they're getting a price, they're not taking into account your markup on that. If they're looking it up in PIMs, PIMs will automatically mark that up to them so they can quote the price to the customer, not the cost. It also prints shipping labels if you need to send something to depot. And it's getting this information directly from GSX, so you know that the part is going to the right location.
Yeah, the GSX stuff is unparalleled great in PIMs.
Thank you, Mike.
Nobody does it like that.
Is it automated, meaning like, you know you have to send that? So does it just say, click, is it just done, or do you have to?
Well, so parts are shipped, I mean, the parts that you're shipping back, the components, they already have the shipping label on them. This shipping label is when you're sending something to depot. That, and because it's pulling the information from GSX, you're guaranteed that it's going to the right depot location.
You're getting the shipper label, the one that you print to GSX.
Right. Something that's new, have you started using consignment?
No, Don showed me how to add the consignments
Okay.
in the location.
So we've had a lot of, what do we do with consignment parts? Do we add them to inventory? Don't we add them to inventory? How do we track all of these things? Now within PIMs, it will update, or it will acknowledge your consignment inventory. So if when you get consignment parts, you don't go to GSX and acknowledge the consignment. You go into PIMs, you create a receiving ticket, you just scan in the parts, you scan in the serial number. PIMs will acknowledge that order in GSX. Because it does that, PIMs knows what you have in consignment, so it's very simple to do inventory reconciliation. And it also knows whether or not the parts that you're using for consignment are going to be for in warranty or out of warranty, so all of the accounting, cost of goods is handled for you.
So
We got started, Mike, late. We just got started late, Mike.
You're on your last week, just did automatic cost of goods, you're good.
I'm done with that slide.
What? All right, fine. How many more slides you got?
Just a few. And again, I'm happy to talk about with you guys after this. It's quick. Accounting, I already talked to you about this. PIMS knows what you should have paid for an out-of-warranty repair. PIMS knows what you should get for labor reimbursement. So when you get your statement from GSX, PIMS will automatically reconcile everything that it agrees with Apple. Anything that is a discrepancy, it will flag you, so you can only have to escalate those invoices or labor reimbursements that are a problem. In addition, it will automatically reconcile your GSX statements. So seriously, in the amount of time that we've been in this room today, I've already reconciled all of my SRO invoices from Apple and paid them for the last month. I mean, it's that fast.
3 stores, 10 minutes every 14 days.
Yeah,
Will it do the chat for you, make the dispute?
Yeah, no.
not yet.
Oh, you asked what I wanted to do next. I would like dispute resolution with Apple to be included.
AI, that's what we need. Let's see, auto reconcile. Oh, Apple Care Connect does the same thing with Apple Care Connect. You know, PIMS will sell Apple Care Connect for you and return it if the customer decides they don't want it. We'll also what's that?
Is there an additional fee for that, like a transaction fee?
In addition, it will auto-reconcile your Apple Care Connect invoices. You can, from within PIMS, pull up a PDF of your invoice from GSX. You don't have to go to GSX to do that. Full transactional accounting and unlimited reporting, we talked about that, and I'll talk about that with you later. One of the things that PIMS will do is, like I said, it will automatically email your customers updates during the repair process, depending on the statuses that you want to update the customers about. And that's an example of something that we do. Comprehensive status report, again, this will let you track the amount of time each SRO stayed in each status by tech, SRO, status, and repair type. So that you can, again, look at a report that sees average repair time per status of each tech, so that if one tech is taking longer than everybody else, you can do some training. Okay, appointment notifier, we talked a little bit about this. This is for when customers make an appointment at GSX through the Apple appointment scheduler. We will automatically email the customer the information that we want to see. It has an iCal attachment into it. It also emails your tech so that they're notified, so they don't have to be surprised because they forgot to check in GSX for that. There's an example of what ours looks like. It's completely user customizable. You have as many templates as you want. You have them all location specific. The check-in kiosk, which Mike's going to talk a little bit about his in a minute, so I don't want to take a whole lot of time, but essentially when your customers check in, they get all sorts of information, and they can puts them in queue. But in addition to that, it also checks to see whether or not they've made an appointment in GSX, and then flags that appointment as having arrived in GSX, so your techs don't have to do that. If you want the beta to play around with PIMs, you can go to this website. If you want more information about the appointment notifier, the customer payment portal, or the check-in kiosk, you can go here to get information on that. I'm done.
Cool. Thank you, Joel.
And I'll be around for questions.
I need that slide up.